Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your boy Jay back at it again, and today we got Stop Trying to Attract Women by Solace. You already know what the deal is, man. Shout out the original creator of this video. 100K by the end of the year on both Jay's here and Jay's there. Follow me on my socials, and without further ado, let's get right into it.
You're always thinking about women. Every swipe, every scroll, every possible interaction in public. Women are always on your mind, and you're like an owl when you're out in the world, keeping your head on a swivel and looking around for the next possible interaction with a woman that could go somewhere and lead to you being able to get a girlfriend. And whether you're into women or something else, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. The constant urge to meet someone, to fall in love, is always there, and it distracts you from things a lot more than you'd like to admit. It sounds crazy, but it really is common. When we're lonely, we want to meet someone to fill that void, and since dating opportunities feel so limited these days, we need to be ready at any time to make sure that we don't miss any of these opportunities. I tried to be extremely aware for years, quickly sending messages to any online dating matches, trying to come up with any excuse to swipe up on a girl's Instagram story where she remembers who I am, and looking around to see if there was anyone who seemed even remotely interested in me in public. It distracted me from things that I should have been enjoying, and it was like a constant weight in the back of my mind that never really went away. As I got more and more lonely, I found myself starting to do things that I wouldn't normally do to find a girlfriend. I said things that I didn't really believe, went to bars that I didn't really like going to, and started lowering my standards to start relationships with women.
Bro was down bad, man. He was in a drought.
Respect me and probably cheated on me, to be honest. I thought that making more money would help, that putting on more muscle was the key to my success, and that doing X, Y, and Z that some random crusty dude online said would change the game and allow me to finally attract women. But it didn't work. See, we live in a world where there's an incentive for people online to sell you stuff.
Well, the thing is, lifting weights, getting in shape, making more money, it definitely helps. Like, it definitely is good for you to increase your stats, right, by enhancing your income, sculpting a good body. But if your personality is not there and you know what I'm saying, you just got a bad vibe about you, or you have it in your mind that you can't pull a girl, bro, you're not gonna get one, bro. It's like you too desperate. You give off desperate energy, like you just too happy to be here, man. And people can pick up on that, you feel me?
To convince you that you're less than you are in order to help fill that void with their stupid online class or guide. So somehow, this landscape has caused people to think that they need to be a certain way or to do a certain thing in order to attract someone. And this seems like the reality when you see these random street interviews where women say that they won't even look at a guy unless he's over 6 feet and drives a $100,000 plus car, which reinforces the cycle and is somehow...
Yeah, social media reinforces the cycle that, all these girls want this guy and that guy. All girls want a guy who's 6 foot and muscular and makes over $120,000 a year, which not all girls are like that. Are there some? Yeah, but they're not the majority, bro. They're not the majority. And these type of street interviews and podcasts and clips are reinforcing these ideals that dating is hopeless and that you'll never find someone you love, which further reinforces this message. It's just a whole cycle, to be honest with you.
Convinced everyone that they need to possess a list of superficial traits in order to not be alone. And it just isn't true. In fact, I think that you should stop trying to attract women altogether. Not to give up, but actually, to get a girlfriend. It doesn't make sense, but I think it will by the end of this video, so stick with me. Let's go back to the perception that people have about dating. Again, online, you always hear about the traits that women are looking for. You need to be rich, have a six-pack, have a large social media following, a charming personality, no nerdy tendencies because anime and gaming are cringe, and the list...
Yeah, like that anime and gaming stuff is cap, bro. It's cap. Girls aren't going to inherently like you because you play anime, but if you check off all the boxes and you happen to watch Dragon Ball or Naruto, it's not a game breaker. It's not, especially in 2025 when animes become mainstream and normalized, it's not a game breaker. It's not.
List goes on. These ideas are reinforced by online gurus who get money by talking about these things, and those street interviews where some random guy is asking women in the street what they think. But, the people selling stuff clearly just want you to feel like you're missing something so that you can buy what they're selling. And the street interviews are often at night, outside of bars or nightclubs in cities like Miami.
Yeah, that's true. They're also, a lot of these street interviews are in these very like populated club area, you know what I'm saying, spaces, right? They're in Miami. They're outside of bar in Houston, LA, right? Where the people going there are most likely just trying to have sex. It's late at night. They got a couple shots in them. They just trying to have sex, bro. They're not really looking for something long-term or sustainable. They just want something quick and easy, right? So obviously the answers you get there are going to be different if you just, you know what I'm saying, went somewhere more rural. Like, I don't know, let's say you went to like an average town in like Pennsylvania, or you went somewhere in like, I don't know, rural Texas. You're most likely not going to get the same answers. Like, the same answers you're getting from a bar in Miami is not going to be the same if you went to like a university in like San Antonio. Like, the answers are most likely going to be different.
Those are, in fact, the things that people are looking for in those areas. Of course, the woman who just came from the nightclub where she got in for free, had all of her drinks paid for, and lives in a city where showing off money and status is 90% of one's day-to-day would have said that. That's probably what she wants. And do you think the guy would have posted the street interview of the woman who just said she's looking for someone who loves her?
Yeah, that's not interesting. An interview where a woman says, oh, I just want like a guy, he makes decent money, maybe, you know, 65K a year, and loves me. That's not interesting, man. That's not gonna get you the money. You gotta post the wild stuff. That's why, like, a lot of this Gen Z, you know, basic questions, right? They most likely cut out the people who know the answers, right? You know what I'm saying? Let's say they ask like 100 people, what's a quarter of an hour, which is 15 minutes. I'd wager that at least 60% of the people would answer that question and know the answer to it. However, the 40% who don't know the answer to it, and even a smaller margin that says something out of complete, just some buffoonery, right? They're gonna get in the video and get clipped up because it's gonna make more views and make more money.
Encourages her to be the best that she can and is there for her when she's feeling bad? Of course not. And of course, the online gurus aren't going to make any money by saying that you need to work on your emotional intelligence, work out a few times a week so that you feel good about yourself, and find something that you're passionate about that guides you. Nobody's going to click on a video or buy a course for that. And I'm sure for that reason, this video is probably not going to do that good as well. The stuff that people post online is a self-perpetuating cycle, pretending that certain things are the reality, which then reinforces those things and causes more people to make content on them, causing more people to believe that they're true. But they really aren't true, and there's no formula or list of boxes that you need to check off to meet or attract women. So stop trying to perform, to be someone that you aren't, or to level up, and just try to be a human. I was single throughout pretty much all of college, and when I switched my mindset, I ended up meeting the girl of my dreams, and I'm confident that she's the girl I'm going to marry one day.
Good
So,
stuff.
what did I do? Well, the first thing is this. Stop chasing a specific outcome with women. When your goal is to just get her number or make her like you, it shows, and not in a good way.
Yeah, it's because you're coming from a place of desire, of desperation. You're talking with a girl, and all you're thinking about is getting in them draws or trying to get her number. You're gonna act in a certain way that's not inherently you, right? When you're just talking with a girl and it's like, you know what, I'm just trying to have a conversation with this chick. If I get the number, that's cool. If I don't, it is what it is. You're gonna be more natural, you feel what I'm saying? Because you're not aiming to get something, you're just there, right? You're just there chilling, having a good time. Like, you're just in a natural state, right? When you're in a natural state and you're not trying to force anything, or you're not trying to strongly desire something, you're going to be more relaxed and be in a flow state, right? That's just kind of how it works.
People know what it feels like when someone's only talking to them because they want something. It's off-putting and obvious, like when someone approaches you on the street or in the mall to try to get you to buy something. That same feeling applies here. If you're forcing a conversation or hyping her up just to win her over, she'll pick up on it instantly. Instead, approach women like you'd approach anyone, without putting them on a pedestal or...
Yeah, man, talking to girls, right? You just gotta treat them like they're normal people, bro. All these tactics and procedures that some of these dudes talk about, it's not necessary, man. It's not it's not going to help you because you're trying to make it more artificial. You're making it harder for yourself because you're trying to do this tactic, like where I wear this specific cologne to get this specific outcome. Like, you're making it more artificial. The more natural the conversation is, the easier it is to just let something happen. It's gonna happen more naturally, right? If you're just talking to a girl because you like talking to her, man, it's gonna be way easier for you to just rock with her, and it's more likely that something's gonna come out of that as a result. You feel what I'm saying?
Be someone you're not. Don't hide your actual interest or change your personality just to impress. When you treat people like people, not prizes, the anxiety and effort melt away and you start having genuine, relaxed interactions. When you're trying too hard to make someone like you, it's easy for them to sense it. It took a while for me to realize this, but once I stopped treating conversations with women like auditions, everything changed.
Yeah, just talk to a girl normally, right? I'm not saying you gotta talk to a girl like she's one of your boys, especially if you're trying to get in a relationship with this chick. But if you're just relaxed and you say, if this happens, cool. If this happens, it is what it is. It's just gonna go way easier, man. Because you're more relaxed. You've already accepted that there's outcomes that may not be desirable, but there's a chance of it happening. You've accepted every single outcome. So you're gonna be more relaxed. Right, like worst case scenario, she blows me off and says she doesn't want to talk to me again. Best case scenario, I get her number, we have a good relationship. You've already accepted both outcomes, so you're just gonna take the shot anyways, right? And you're not trying to impress this chick, you're not trying to put on a show for her, you're just trying to talk to her, right? Which is gonna make this way easier, right? When I stopped idolizing girls, it became so easy to just talk to them, man. It was like it was nothing. It was effortless. You feel what I'm saying?
Suddenly, I wasn't exhausting myself trying to remember some winning line or second guessing how I was
Yeah, you don't need pickup lines. If she likes you, you don't have to put in that much work, at least to get the number or the Instagram or whatever you want, or whatever you desire, right? But in those cases, it's not such a strong desire to, I gotta get this chick, I gotta get her no matter what. It's like, oh, well, she cute, but it is what it is. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you don't, in that type of instance, you're not coming off of a place of desperation because you already in your mind accepted that I can get this chick, but if I don't, it is what it is. And since you're not so desperate to get with her, right, or to get something from her, you're more natural, right? You're not trying to remember a pickup line or remember a specific technique. You're just chilling, man. You're just chilling. And when you're just relaxed in a calm state, talking to people becomes 50 times easier.
Across. I just let the conversation happen. Some went nowhere, so what? Others felt surprisingly easy. And this type of conversation is what I had when I first met my girlfriend, and it's a big part of why we hit it off so early. I didn't hide my interests or my nerdy tendencies or my music tastes. I was truly myself, and she liked me for who I am, not for who I was pretending to be. But there's one thing that comes before this, and that's figuring out who you are. Social media, these online gurus, and even friends unintentionally feed you these ideas of who you should become if you want to be accepted. Pretty soon, it's easy to forget what genuinely matters to you or what you enjoy doing when nobody's watching. Real connection has to start with you being real, but you can't do that if you've lost track of yourself. So before you worry about being liked, take a hard look inward and ask yourself some basics, free from outside expectations. What are your real goals?
I'm not gonna lie, this video in the background is OD nostalgic. This is the old school. This gotta be an older version of Minecraft. This gotta be OG Minecraft, bro. Like the construction style, the way he's building his base is so just OG, man. It's giving me, yo, it's nostalgic as a mug, boy.
From some influencer or your parent. Where do you want to be in 5 or 10 years? Not just with relationships, but in how you live every day. What actually brings you joy? What do you do for fun when no one's grading you on looking cool? If money were no object, how would you spend your days, or what would you choose for work? What weird foods, hobbies, or random obsessions light you up for no reason at all? Give yourself permission to answer honestly, even if those answers sound ordinary or cringe by someone else's standards. That's the foundation. When you know who you are and you give yourself space to honor those parts of yourself, the right people notice and they want to be around you because of that, not in spite of it. I'm extremely passionate about YouTube, learning philosophy, country music, and coffee shops, and while these are a weird, unimpressive group of personality traits, they really are a big part of who I am. The night I met the girl who is now my girlfriend, I was able to passionately talk about these things. I didn't hide them, I didn't try to push them aside to be only interested in NFTs and sports gambling so that she would like me. I came forward with who I am, and she liked who I was.
Oh yeah, if you know me, you know I'm not shy about the stuff that I like. I'll tell you about, oh yeah man, if you ask, you know I like to do YouTube. You know that I'm very much into philosophy and history and whatnot. Like I'll tell you straight up, like that's this type of stuff that I enjoy. You feel what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna just keep it real with you. Like that's like, you know, that's the type of stuff that I just enjoy inherently. You feel what I'm saying? It kind of just, you know, it is what it is. You feel what I'm saying? Like, because I feel like when you more straightforward with it now, you don't gotta tell her everything about yourself, every nook, crack, and detail. But the more natural the interaction is, the easier it is to just have something flow. Because you're not trying to hide anything, right? You're not trying to, you know, hide, you know, you're not like, bro, when you try to be mysterious, is people can sense that. They can sense that you're trying to do something artificial, that you're fake. It's not genuine sauce, right? You're trying to artificially create aura, create sauce. You're trying to do it in an artificial means, which is why it's not going to work. You feel what I'm saying? Like the more natural the sauce is, the more natural the game is, right? The easier it is. A natural game is just you being yourself and you just talking to her like she's a human being, money. Almost every interaction I've had with a girl that I was able to pursue, I wasn't trying to hide anything from it. Now, did some relationships not work? Of course they didn't, right? It's just part of the, you know what I'm saying? It's just part of the process. But a lot of relationships worked because I just kept it real. Like I wasn't trying to put on a cool guy facade. You know what I'm saying? I was just being myself. And since I'm naturally a cool, you know what I'm saying, chill dude, it worked out for the most part. You feel what I'm saying?
So it worked out. Because even if you do pretend and she does like the fake version of you, she's gonna find the real one eventually. So don't hide it because you're setting yourself up for disaster if you do. Discover yourself and make it clear who you are and what you believe, and you won't have to try and attract women. Some woman somewhere will one day find these things attractive. And it's hard to discover yourself, especially by yourself. Most of my passions and hobbies are things that I discovered while connecting with other people who gave me new ideas and helped me to learn who I truly was. So if you're struggling to meet people like that, consider joining my Discord and Minecraft server using the link in the description. We have over 2,000 members who are all into topics like this, and it's a great place to chat and make new friends online. And we have a whitelisted Minecraft server solely for members of the Discord that is a lot of fun, so check it out and I will see you there. And if you're enjoying this content, consider liking, subscribing, or maybe even buying me a coffee using the link in the description. I appreciate your support, and let's get back to what we were talking about. Without the performances of trying to impress women and an idea of who you really are, it's time to discuss the flip side of this coin. Something that a lot of people aren't going to want to hear. While you should never pretend to be someone that you aren't in order to attract women, there are some things that you really should try and work on if you want to keep a woman interested in you and have success.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I said earlier that it's not bad to work out and get money. Like, yeah, are those things gonna inherently get you chicks? Most likely not, right? I mean, there's dudes who have money and dudes who are fit and don't pull like that, right? However, it's good to just have those things. You work out a lot, you know what I'm saying, 4 to 5 times a week. You're disciplined, you're in great shape, you're stronger, you're in better health, right? You have more money, you have more assets. If something goes wrong, you can pay for it, right? You can have a nicer home, nicer food. Kids have all the supplies they need for school. It's just easier to maintain a relationship when you have those two things in your pocket, you feel me?
Term relationships. And these aren't only traits for relationships, but traits that will contribute to your overall success and happiness. I'm not talking about faking anything or scrambling to buy a 6-figure car or hit the gym out of desperation, but about building a life and habits that make you better, more fulfilled, and more confident. Here are some things worth focusing on. Emotional intelligence. Learn to talk about your feelings, not just bottle them up. Listen when someone's upset, own up when you're wrong, and try to understand where people are coming from, even if you don't agree. Real relationships need real communication, not just surface-level jokes and banter, self-sufficiency and ambition. Have goals outside of dating. Work on something that matters to you: career, school, side hustles, creative projects. You don't need to be rich or hyper-successful, but having a sense of direction and drive is attractive because it shows that you aren't looking for someone else to fix your life. Respect for others. Treat people well, regardless of what they can offer you.
Treat people how you want to be treated, man. You heard that since you was 4.
It sounds basic, but it's easy to overlook. The way you talk to waiters and waitresses, family, strangers, or people online says more about you than any flex that you can post on Instagram. Curiosity and openness. Try new things, read books, watch movies outside of your comfort zone, travel if you can, even if it's just exploring your own city. Stay curious about life, it keeps you interesting and it makes conversations effortless. Accountability. When you mess up, admit it. When you don't know something, own it. Accountability builds trust faster than pretending to be perfect. Healthy boundaries. Know what you won't accept in a relationship, how you expect to be treated, and what your deal breakers are. Boundaries don't mean being rigid or controlling, they mean knowing when to walk away from situations or people that don't align with your values or well-being. Taking care of yourself. Not because you need a six-pack, but because feeling good makes life better. Move your body, sleep enough, shower, figure out the style that feels comfortable to you. Do it for yourself, not for the likes or attention. And finally, being present. Actually pay attention and put the phone down sometimes. Ask questions and listen to answers. Being present is rare these days, which is why it stands out. These are just a few things that will not only help you to have more success with women, but also allow you to become a better person. As you learn more about yourself, develop some good traits and stop trying to be so performative. You will, ironically, be able to attract women more successfully if you do this. But the weird thing is, the second that you do all of this in order to attract the women, it becomes pointless. You should try to do these things for yourself, and an improved dating life will come naturally as a result of all of this. I recently saw...
Yeah, definitely. Improving your stats is going to make a relationship easier. Don't improve your stats inherently for a relationship, but if you do it for yourself, or even better, you do it to help someone like your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, it's going to make the relationship easier. You feel me?
Something online that summarizes everything we've talked about with a good story. Imagine you've always been obsessed with catching butterflies. You run around the field, net in hand, chasing every flash of color, constantly looking, always feeling like you're missing out if you stop for even a second.
But the thing is, it's like, I know he's going to use a metaphor here, but it's like, if you always seek a bird and try to catch birds, they're always going to fly away. However, if you build a nice little birdhouse, they're just going to come naturally. You're not going to know, right? You know, the moment they exactly land on it, they're not going to know how long they stay. You feel what I'm saying? But it's more likely they're just going to come naturally, and you're not going to have to force it or try to lure it in. It's just going to happen in a more natural sense. You feel me?
But the more that you chase, the more the butterflies dart away, sensing your desperation and flying just out of reach. Now, picture a different approach. You decide to pause, put down the net, and focus on building your own garden. You plant the flowers you love, cultivate vibrant colors, and take time to care for the space, watering it, pulling out weeds, giving it sunlight. Maybe at first it's quiet, but with time, as the garden grows more beautiful, butterflies begin to visit on their own. Not because you hunted them, but because they're drawn to what you created. They come and go freely, and the experience is richer and more natural than anything you could have caught with a net. That's what it's like with relationships. The garden is your own life, your passions, your growth, the things that makes you excited to wake up every morning. When you focus on nurturing those things, people are drawn to you out of genuine interest and curiosity. You're not chasing, you're attracting by simply being the best and fullest version of yourself. The less you focus on catching someone, the more you create a space where real, lasting connection can show up. So try and take this into your normal life and see how it works out. I think with time and patience, you'll become exactly who you want to be. Do you agree with the things that I've talked about here? What has been your biggest challenge with dating? Do you have any tips for other people? Let me know in the comments and come chat over on the Discord server. If you enjoyed this conversation, consider supporting the channel by buying me a coffee. I'm not taking sponsors on this channel, and your support goes a long way.
Hey man, that was a good video about my dog, man. I might have to check more of his videos out. A little chill, a little calm, some little calm and all that. But hey, with that being said, shout out Solace for this video. But with that being said, you know what I'm saying? The more you build on yourself naturally, the easier interactions are gonna be. Right? I actually might just make like a third channel. I know, Mr. Channel Man and all that, but a third channel where I just like yap. Cause I know I yap on reactions, but like it's just me, my microphone, and my own thoughts, speaking stuff, you know what I'm saying? That might be a little fun concept, but with that being said, it's your boy Jay. Stay healthy, stay wealthy, and stay blessed, cause it's your boy Jay's here, Jay's there, and I'm out.